Welcome to special guest referee. I'm Shine Hollis from the Touchback. That is Tim from Wrong Sports. And you know what? We really need to talk about WWE's profiteering these days because it's kind of getting out of hand. Tim, have you seen some of the stuff WWE is peddling these days?
Yeah, whether it's the high ticket prices, the championship belts you can buy, t-shirts, now you can buy dinner with John Cena. You can buy a $2,000 autograph from Triple H. What more stuff can you buy? Like, you pretty much buy the piece of the ring at this point.
Piece of the ring, the turnbuckles, but I mean that's not even the worst stuff there. Like all of those WWE branded sports team belts you're seeing people wear. Do you want to show your love for the University of Arkansas football team? Buy this WWE title belt, lol. WWE is now selling $700 tickets during SummerSlam for an exclusive seat and cooler to watch Performance Center tryouts. If something exists in that realm, they're finding a way to make money off it.
Yes, paying $700 to watch a bunch of people who probably won't be signed to the roster and do a bunch of calisthenics and running around isn't fun for me.
I mean, you don't want to see WWE find the next Tino Sabatelli or Mandy Rose?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, but this is what it's coming down to. It's almost absurd what WWE is doing as far as making money. Not surprising, mind you. That's one of the things I don't necessarily understand from fans these days. Is this was especially true during WrestleMania, where they were talking about these high ticket prices and this sort of gross exploitation of fans is going to face a backlash. On the contrary, I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think so either. People are still watching. People are still going due to these high ticket prices. Didn't they have one of their largest gates in France and it was 13,000 people were there?
Yeah, the huge gates in France. Saudi Arabia money is coming in. They're extracting all of these fees from local government. I mean, Perth is paying to host WWE events. And more importantly, fans stateside are still paying far more expensive ticket prices than ever before to see a product that it kind of feels like it's losing a little steam recently.
Yeah, and now you have John Cena as the champion, so that's what they're selling, except no one's really happy with watching a John Cena match now, so I don't really know why we're complaining, but we are.
And let's not forget, back in the day, John Cena would have a new shirt, a new theme for his shirt and his wristbands and his hat, like once every 6 months to a year. It's almost like clockwork. John Cena would do something. They'd have like the 8-bit shirt or the John Deere ripoff shirt, or well, he had a lot of ripoffs of other ideas over the years, but that was kind of the shtick, right? It was every 6, 9, 12 months, John Cena would have a new line, but now they're coming up with individual event shirts for John Cena.
I didn't see that one, actually. What random adventure do they have John Cena on?
John Cena in Belgium. Get your exclusive John Cena retired. Like so every city, or like John Cena did a shirt with like a Colts logo on. So they were literally every city John Cena is now in has a specialized John Cena shirt for it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I want one from him in like France of him just sitting at a table, just like drinking coffee like that. Like,
no, they're all like stupid, but it's like the stupid thing where they don't really change anything to it. It's just like, we're just going to change the name of the city and the color scheme. It's like, we'll just do palette swaps on all of this because they're so cheap. So it's not like you're getting a new shirt. You're just getting the same shirt with like a palette swap and your city on it.
And the thing with shirts are they're really ridiculous anyway, because most of the time shirts that you buy at a wrestling show, you're not really going to wear in public. You might wear it to like the gym, or you might wear it to your friend's house when you're watching wrestling, but you're certainly not going to work in a John Cena shirt. And most of these shirts are ridiculous anyway. Like, just using an example, AEW had, Scissor Me Daddy shirts. Very ridiculous shirt, but it was one of their highest selling shirts. And people were wondering, where would you wear that shirt? Well, you'd wear it to an AEW event. Just like a John Cena shirt, where are you going to wear it? Probably watching a John Cena match. You're not going to wear it in public.
But this brings me to a much bigger question, and not just as it relates to shirts, but just all of these seemingly obscene packages, travel packages, $100 merch. Like, we're getting super specialized high-end merch now from WWE of all places. The question is, who the hell is buying this stuff?
Yeah, not sure. They seem to have enough people to buy it because they're making a bunch of money, but I am someone who will not spend one dime on WWE. I think I have a record now of almost 15 years, if not more, of not spending $1 on WWE. And it's been pretty fantastic ever since they came out with WWE Network and it went on Peacock because I get Peacock for free due to my cable subscribers. So I haven't had to pay WWE directly for years. Any show that I've been to for WWE, I've gotten free tickets to. I am not buying anything at the show. So I am one of those people who has not given them any money, but yet has still been watching the product for 15, 20 years or so and just have never given them a dime. So someone is definitely giving them enough money to let this racket continue.
Isn't the old trope about wrestling fans that they're dirt poor and broke, and that's why Prime is sponsoring the ring and all of this stuff? And there's this weird dichotomy here that doesn't quite make a lot of sense because people like you aren't supporting WWE, but people with money are. Like what? I like this is the big mystery as it relates to WWE that I've never fully comprehended in the past few years.
Yeah, it's one that doesn't really make any sense either because when you bring up the fact like back in the 90s and before the Attitude Era, you could go to a WWE event for like $3. You could go to any arena, tickets would be under $15. You could get a floor seat for $20, keep the seats. The seat's probably worth more than your ticket to the event. I mean, they used to be giving out free tickets left and right, and now tickets are jacked all the way up to, if you want to sit all the way upstairs in the nosebleeds, you're paying $150, $200.
$150, $200 to see Solo Sikoa. Why not, folks? You do hear quite a bit from WWE fans is that they can't keep doing this. Endeavor and their masters, Silver Lake, can't keep trying to extract every last cent from the fan base. In theory, oh God, not him. But hypothetically speaking, this is true. Here's how it works in reality though. Endeavor cares about two things. First, strip mining for profits in the here and now. And second, creating a bunch of value add services WWE is going to be reliant on for essentially the rest of its history. That means when Endeavor does sell its stake in WWE, and make no mistake, that is what private equity does, the new owners of World Wrestling Entertainment will be required to keep those so profits are able to remain. Don't believe me? Okay, let's break it down for you. WWE uses On Location for all of those premium experience. Who owns On Location LLC? That would be Endeavor. Fanatics Events organizes all of those big WWE fan event to-dos. That would be co-owned by Fanatics and IMG, which is co-owned by, you guessed it, Endeavor. WWE Shop, that's a Fanatics experience. Who has invested in various arms of the Fanatics business over the years? Why, that would be both Endeavor and Endeavor's parent company, Silver Lake. Endeavor wants to make as much money as possible now, sell WWE for a huge profit in a few years' time, and then keep making money after the sale because ownership won't be able to decouple it from all of these services that Endeavor has tied it down to. Then, now, forever, it's not just WWE's tagline when it comes to in-ring action, it is how private equity works. Take something you didn't build and had nothing to do with in the past, squeeze it for every last cent you can, and then pawn it off on someone else while still extracting as much money as you can from it in the future. The thing about what WWE is doing now and what they did in the past is that there's not a lot of difference in terms of the outcome or the goals here. Like WWE has always wanted to make money on various things outside of ticket sales. That's the goal of every wrestling promoter. It's the goal of every company, really, is just to create revenue streams. Yet there was something, I don't want to say noble, but there was something sort of homey or quaint about the old WWE grift opposed to what we see in 2025. I think the first thing WWE really did was, closed circuit TV and pay-per-views. I mean, they kind of revolutionized that technology in the 1980s.
Yeah, nobody else was doing it really. And for probably the first 5-10 years or so, they were the best at it until UFC came in, and then UFC really was doing bigger pay-per-view numbers than them. But yeah, WWE with the closed circuits, I mean, they were selling out theaters, 1,000-person stadiums were paying $30 to watch a pay-per-view on the big screen like you're going to a movie. So, I mean, they definitely had their audience and they knew how to get money out of them. And then it just kept progressing as the 90s went on.
Yeah, it really snowballs. And I mean, just to go back to the pay-per-view for a second, it became the template for every wrestling company. Like it was all about we got to get pay-per-view. WCW did it. ECW's big thing is like we need pay-per-view. That was going to save the company. It didn't, of course, but they really became the pioneers of pay-per-view wrestling. And then they started doing all of these other things that would get copied along the way. We're talking about licensed merchandise, the ice cream bars, of course, all of that other stuff. This is when we start to see the albums, the 900 numbers. I mean, in the early 90s, late 80s, you could call a 900 number, spend $1.99 of your parents' money and get an update from Hulk Hogan. Now that update was a pre-recorded tape message with zero useful information, but like that was what they were selling you. And it was $2, $1.99 at a time.
And yeah, the 900 numbers were ridiculous. I mean, there was the famous thing back in about 1990 where Hulk Hogan was injured by earthquake and they had you get well wishes to Hulk Hogan. And when you sent well wishes, they sent you back a merchandise catalog. So now they had you in their grasp and they were going to send you merchandise for the rest of your life. So that was one way of doing it. I love the 900 numbers. Those were just hilarious because you could just, spend hours on there of your parents' money, not really getting any sort of information. One of my favorite things they did, though, with the telephone was they did birthday greetings. You could pay $19.99 and have Razor Ramon or Doink the Clown, or I guess Diesel would do it, and they would wish you happy birthday over the phone. So basically, they had Cameo before Cameo had Cameo.
Yeah, I don't actually recall that, but in my mind, and maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, I'm imagining they do that highly edited version. So the greeting is the same, but the name is different. So it's like, hey, yo, this is Razor Ramon. I just want to wish Tim a happy birthday, Chico.
That's pretty much how it went. I don't know. I did not spend the $20 back in 1994 to do it. I probably would have, since I was a kid then, and I would have tricked my grandma into buying it. But yeah, that's probably how it was. Hey, happy birthday, Tim. Hope you have a good one, or something like that. That's probably how it was.
Yeah, that's how they all went. Sadly, my parents didn't lovely enough to get me the personalized, like Bam Bam Bigelow greeting or whatever the case may be. But yeah, you had like all of this stuff that came up in the 90s, and it was all exploitative to a certain degree. I mean, 900 numbers are the most exploitative thing we had for a good long time. It's like, how can I string someone along to exploit all of this money? Of course, it's $1.99 a minute. I mean, yeah, you can get to $50, $60 there, but eventually you're gonna hang up the phone at some time. The one thing you sort of saw when WWE became listed on the New York Stock Exchange is that they kind of just went in this era of ridiculous business ideas. Obviously, they're cashed up. They have all of this disposable income. And when you have this money and you have stockholders, there is a desperate need to create new sources of revenue. Like you need to show stockholders you're growing and you're making more money. And that really led to a string of just, I don't know if they're good ideas, stupid ideas. They're just things that happened with the WWE.
So you mean WWE Films, WWE New York, WWE Niagara Falls, WWE Tough Enough? Those weren't great ideas.
Some kid out there was, Mom and Dad, I want to go to Niagara Falls. And they wanted to go for the WWE shop, which was literally just a gift shop. It was just WWE stuff you could buy at any event, but it was only at like Niagara Falls. And they had a ride. They had like that stupid pile driver ride. It was just the most preposterous thing ever. And they charged obscene amounts of money for you to go on the WWE Niagara Falls pile driver ride.
So basically you could buy WWE merchandise at a markup just for going to Niagara Falls. Honestly, that seems like a very WWE thing, just like WWE New York, which was the one time I went there. There was maybe 5 other people there. I went during the week, but yeah, 5 people were maybe in there. But yeah, WWE plastered everywhere for basically the same food that you could get at Chili's, and it was triple the price.
So yeah, they made that on pay-per-views. I remember seeing it, and it always seemed like the hottest thing to do. I guess that Tuesday lunch crowd, I guess all the stockbrokers, all the Wall Street players weren't heading over to WWE New York for their like body slam burger, whatever stupid product they had. So yeah, in this era, we got a lot of different weird things. We got movies with Edge and Triple H, the Marine series, Kane before he went down the tracks of wherever he's doing these days. MTV's Tough Enough was, I mean, it was the early 2000s. It was fine for a reality show, although didn't really produce that next big breakout star. Eventually, though, WWE becomes a little more focused in their efforts. It's all about TV contracts. It's all about finding ways to extract that value. They sort of up their merchandise game around that point too.
Randy Orton. Where'd you get him?
Kmart. Isn't he so cute?
And we just get a more sort of well-polished, after all of the shenanigans of the stock listing, it does seem like they find their bearings as far as money making is concerned.
Yeah, definitely. They don't really have to do anything anymore. They can kind of just be on autopilot for the next couple of years just because of everything that they have under their umbrella.
Make no mistake, WWE has always been about making as much money as possible. I mean, Vince McMahon probably would have put superstars on X-Hamster if offered enough money to. There's a big difference, though, between what they were doing back in the day and what happens now. Private equity is steering this ship, and their efforts to increase revenue have gone from casting huge nets, trying to get smaller amounts of money from a larger number of people that require significant capital outlays. I mean, we can all riff on WWE New York, but that required a pretty big investment. Making movies requires a large investment. Private equity is all about expensive add-ons that don't actually cost a lot to produce and return huge yields. WWE has always been about profiteering, and I mean, pretending otherwise would be foolish. It would be denying reality. The difference is that private equity is a lot better at it. More importantly, they aren't targeting a few extra bucks from a larger number of casual fans. TKO is whale hunting. They want the freemium game addict. They want the person who is going to drop tens of thousands of dollars on the product. In some ways, that does make the days of 900 numbers, CDs, questionably licensed WWE merchandise seem almost quaint by comparison. What we're seeing now from World Wrestling Entertainment is nothing new. It's just far grosser than it ever has been. It is late stage capitalism at its pure, uncut, expensive, and grimy worst. But you know, that's just sort of my thought on the situation. Tim, obviously you may have a different perspective here. So I guess, what are your thinking about where WWE is now as far as their capitalizing on capitalism, I suppose, and where do we go from here?
Well, they certainly have a good racket going. I mean, they really, like I said, they could just be on autopilot, let everything go. As long as you're creating new superstars and putting superstars where they need to be and promoting them as such, they'll probably be fine. It's only going to be worse, though, in terms of what products and things that we're getting. Like, one of my favorite worst products that they put out recently was that title belt that they had for The Fiend that they were asking like $1,000 for or whatever. They'll always have some ridiculous thing like that that will become a big deal because of how outrageous it is. That's really where I think they're going to go, is they're going to keep making the more outrageous items. And if they get maybe 4 people to buy it, then that might be a good thing because, you know, they don't care. They just are doing these ridiculous things for the hype and the press. And if they get 5 people to buy a stupid Fiend belt, then, you know, they make $5,000 on this thing that is probably worth about $5.
Yeah, and I think just to add on to that, the average fan would like to think WWE cares about them. That the WWE is invested in the fan sitting in the 300 section of any arena across America, and that $50 ticket is what matters to them. But they can lose that ticket. They don't need to make those upper deck seats. They're there similar to how economy class operates on most flights. You just there to sort of prop up the numbers, but it's all about that premium experience. It's all about the individual spending $10,000 to see an episode of Raw in Dayton, Ohio, or some random place like that. The average fan is just sort of irrelevant. If they come, they come, and if they don't, they don't.
Yeah, pretty much. And that's probably what we're going to have here until they go down in viewership again, if that ever happens. It doesn't seem like it's going to be happening, and we're never going to get real numbers anymore about Raw because they're on Netflix, and Netflix can do whatever they want in terms of telling us how many people are actually watching this product or not. So yeah, I don't think really anything's going to change. anytime soon. It's probably just going to be a lot of the same stuff, but just expect more ridiculous, promotional items, ridiculous experiences like $20,000 to sit at a table and be berated by John Cena. Or
hey, he has his rules for dinner, and we all must abide by them. I learned that from Total Bellas.
These are the house rules. It's very simple.
Yeah, you better wear a suit or he's attitude adjusting you through that table.
No shoes in the house, but you don't show up to a formal dinner shoeless.
The one interesting thing you did mention is creating new stars. And I mean, you look at who's at the top of the card and you look at who's coming through the ranks. I don't know if WWE is doing that so well, and that could be where all of this changes. I mean, they're not signing another CM Punk. They're not signing another Cody Rhodes. There isn't a lot left for them to do as far as it relates to independence or signing the next big talent. So if they don't really start coming through with new stars, which has been sort of an issue for a while now, that could lead to less fan engagement, and that leads to less merchandise sales and less ticket sales, and that's when people become less interested in all of those highfalutin high-end experiences.
Yeah, you got to make sure that Yeet goes on forever, I guess, unless they're not going to make money off him anymore once that goes away. So yeah, it's true. They got to keep making superstars, because superstars is where you get the catchphrases from. It's where you get the new t-shirt ideas from, where you get new selling whatever the heck you want to sell. I mean, John Cena, they sold pretty much anything that he was wearing on his body, they sold. So anyone else who's coming up, make sure you think of a new weird merchandise idea, and you'll probably become the next WWE superstar.
If all of that fails, we'll bring back the NWO for another run.
Oh, God. I know Kevin Nash is looking for another payday, guys.
Dude, like, you know Hogan would come back in a heartbeat for that.
Except he would be booed out of the place.
I mean, he'd probably say, it's like, oh, I got that heat, brother.
I got that heat. I'm a heel, bro. We're
Yeah.
NWO country.
NWO for life. Like, they're just responding to me, brother. Now buy some of my shitty beer.
So even though WWE has changed a little bit, they're still doing their same old grift, and it's even more expensive for the fans now.
Yeah, your parent of Guardian may not have noticed that $3 or $4 missing from that 900 call you made to the WWE hotline, but they're certainly going to notice that they're about $700 short when that bill comes due for your Performance Center premium seating cooler tryout extravaganza, or whatever it is they are doing to get money from you, the fan. It's not changing. It's not really different. It's just packaged in a much more private equity way. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. We are special guest referee. I'm Cheyenne. That's Tim from Wrong Sports. You can go check out his channel if you want to learn more about college football history and basketball history, all of that good stuff. But of course, also make sure you subscribe to this channel, like the video if you are so inclined to do. You can share it. There's other things you can do. You probably know the drill by now. Anyway, more importantly, just remember,
when Triple H is your special guest ref, you're getting turned on.
so they had the ESPN zone, but then like Fox Sports started their own version of that, but it was like less good in every way imaginable. I was living in Seattle at the time, and I saw like the Fox Sports whatever zone or whatever they were calling it. I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm going to go. And it sucked so bad.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. I'm sure all they did was just plaster like Fox Sports stuff on top of ESPN.
It was the quintessential Fox Sports experience. So disappointing.